Hey guys, thanks for watching part 3 of this build. Let's get right with it. We're going to start off with shingles. Guys, we got a starter strip all the way around. Put your bottom on first. It's just a 3D or 3-tab shingle turned upside down. Run it all the way across the bottom and all the way up each side. And then I'll show you how we get the shingle started. Alright guys, I hope you can see this. I'm hanging off the ladder to try to show you. If you look, we put a full shingle on the bottom, lined it up with our starter strip, and then the next one is 6 inches off, then the third one's 18 inches off, 12 inches off, and then the fourth one is 18 inches off, and then the next one is 6 more inches, 24 inches off. And then we'll come back with full rows. You can lay full sheets, and you line your lines up. And you line up down here. How about skip it though? Unedited here. So you line your full sheet up with the right past the line on the last one. And line your lines up on that. And you nail that full sheet on and you run it all the way down. Next full sheet all the way up. And then once you get up to that 5th run, you start back over with full sheet on the end. Hope that makes sense to you guys. He's cutting us a pile here. Start off with a full one, then what? You take off 6 inches?
6, 12, 18.
6, 12, and 18. That way you can stagger them up. I'll show you how he cuts one. Flip it over and cut the back side. Takes his knife, makes a mark. Takes a 12-inch speed square. Just like that, fold it back. It gets 3 too. Next one, you take 6 off each run till you get to your 5th run. Then you start with a new shingle. It don't matter if it's a roof this small or one that's 30 feet long, you do it the same way. We'll just finish running these now full length all the way to the end, and we'll have to cut her inwards. Alright guys, as you can see, we got the roof finished. All the shingles put on and the ridge cap. Ridge caps are just 3-tab shingles cut into caps. And I think it turned out looking really good. Front and back's finished. This building's coming along nicely. You gotta get it painted and trimmed out. Alright guys, all I gotta do is sweep and then I'll have this place cleaned out. And I was gonna box my gable ends in first, but I've decided to leave them open until I get my workbenches and stuff built, because it lets a lot of natural light in. And I don't have power running here yet. I have a couple lights hanging there, but I think that's what I'm gonna go with. This is the windows I use, guys. Just Project Source vinyl single hung utility windows. I think when I built my last building, they were $50 a piece. And when I bought these two, I think they were on sale. They were originally almost 100. They were on sale for 70 a piece. So in a little under 2 years, the price of those things have almost doubled. But they're good windows. I mean, for a building especially. You got a single lock, open and close good. But I'm gonna get these stickers off so the sun don't make them on there. Hey guys, so we're going to start making this workbench, and when you walk in the door, it's on the right hand side. And at first I was going to do it at 42 inches tall, but you'll see once I got it up, I realized that was just a little bit big, and I made it a little too wide because I wanted to hang stuff on that back wall, and it just made it hard to reach up there, even me at 6 foot tall. So I ended up taking it back down. You'll see in just a minute. I get it put up, then I realize, I'm like, you dummy, that's way too tall. So even for me, I was someone shorter in there helping me, it'd be very tall. So I took it back down. You seen there, it was out on the other stud there. I took it down and made it about 4 inches narrower and about 4 inches shorter. Put me a beam there in the front to stiffen it up, just in the middle of it to carry that center load. That's a treated board where it's sitting directly on the concrete. And I went out to get the stuff set up to cut the top for it. I'm just using 3/4 inch plywood. Set my saw where it just cuts through it. Set up my saw where it just barely cuts through. And then I'll cut that piece of plywood. I'll try and speed this up for you. Battery died. Never fear, new batteries here. Hey. Beautiful. Let's get this top put on this workbench. I'll piece that part in, but Here, see if I can't show you guys. See if I can't show you all. It's gonna be a heavy duty workbench. That's what I wanted. I mean, super heavy duty. All right, let's see what happens. Didn't budge. So guys, I pieced in that small part I left out, and then the father-in-law came over, and we went to putting a storage area on the left-hand side in the top. I guess you would call that a storage loft. But we just made like pretty much a little wall and held it up in place, marked where we wanted it, leveled it, and screwed it off on the left-hand side. That way to give us a little more storage in the top. And it's still tall enough that I can walk under it easily. You see us using the level to level it once we fastened it to our line in the back. We actually ended up having to cut out one of our collar ties that I put in. That way we could get like storage totes and stuff up there. I actually ended up just making a shorter one and putting it higher up on those rafters, because you know 3 or 4 collar ties is a good thing. If it was a bigger structure, you'd want more than that. And then we just put a little 45 kicker off of that one stud there up to the platform. That way it would strengthen it a little in that center. Then we took some just 7/16 OSB and nailed it on. We had to cut another little piece to go in that back right hand corner, and that was finished. And then we went straight into making doors. Well, this is a 5-foot opening. We're going to do 2.5-foot doors, actually a little bit smaller. See, I got room for, you don't want to put them tight. I hadn't ate nothing yet. I got me a hot pocket and I scarfed it down real quick, and we got the frame of the doors made. And then I end up cutting out 8 little like foot-long pieces with 45s on each end to put inside of each door. You'll see those in just a second, and that really strengthens the door up. Once we get them put together, you can see me cutting them back there. There's one laid in there. It actually squares your door too. If you got a perfect 45 on each end, it makes a 90, and a perfect 90-degree angle is always square. So after we had the frame of both doors made, we laid down the pieces I cut out, and we had to mark a line and cut them where they would fit the doors perfectly. And even at that, we end up still having to trim a little bit, because we cut the doors just a hair bit smaller than the opening. We actually ended up making them about 1.5 inches shorter, the frame, than the actual T111. The way the T111 came down, but the door, if it ever did swag just a little, the frame wouldn't rub the concrete. You can see that if you look on the bottom right hand here, how the T111 comes down about 1.5 inches longer than the frame itself. And we just used a block to set the frames on, and we lined it up and leveled it where it looked good, and then we just put our hinges on. You look here on the left hand side, you can see how that T111 hangs over just a little longer than the frame. And even though we made them about a little over 1/4 inch more narrow than the opening, they still rubbed when you shut them. So we ended up putting a round over bit on a router, and on the inside part of that frame we rounded it over, and that took it out. It was great. See there, the father-in-law took the router up each side. Then you see us over here start marking out and measuring for the gable ends to cut that out. We got this gable end covered up, guys, so I'm going to try to use these cutoffs as much as I can on the other side. And I got one more piece of T111, and I'm going to go get started on it. I won't video it because same process as this side. We're just measuring our short point, and then the length of the sheathing's 4 foot. Measure up at that point and take a chalk line and match from here to there, and that'll give you your angle cut. I'm gonna go do the other side, guys.